everyone, in this video we are going to discuss about random access memory. So this is a very important topic that you have to deal with. So it comes under the various types of memory, and there's RAM, ROM, cache memory, then CPU registers. All these ITRs, all these types of memories are very important from net point of view. So in this session we'll be particularly focusing on random access memory. We'll be just focusing on some of the important features or characteristics of random access memory that are very important from net point of view. And also we'll be focusing on two types of RAM as well. So we have SRAM as well as DRAM. So these two types are again very important. So the recent exams we have explored this area so much so that we are getting a lot of questions from these types of RAM as well. So in order to get into this particular topic, we'll be just focusing on a question that was asked in NTA UGC in December 2022 exam, and through this question we'll be exploring this area in detail. So here you have the question. Which of the following is or are true regarding RAM? And we have the options. RAM is non-volatile. RAM has a slow access time relative to other storage devices. Then RAM can be static or dynamic. So this is about the two different types of RAM. And finally, you have the option, or you have a statement which is RAM holds the BIOS. So these are the four different statements that are given here, and we have to identify the right statements or the true statements regarding RAM. So in order to answer this question, we'll be firstly looking at the features or characteristics of random access memory. So this expansion in itself is a very important idea that you have to remember. So RAM stands for random access memory. In the previous exams, they have asked you, or we have various questions in which we need to identify the right expansion of RAM. So that is random access memory. So this is called as read or write memory, or it is termed, or it can be identified as the main memory or the primary memory. So these are some of the important terms that you have to identify here and you have to remember. So this is called as read or write memory, and also it is known as the main memory or the primary memory. So for what this RAM is used for, that is again a very important idea that you have to focus. So this memory is used in order to store the data and programs the CPU requires during the execution of a program. So this particular memory stores data as well as programs that are required by the CPU during the execution of a program. So if you just focus on the question that we already seen in the beginning, it focuses that RAM is associated with non-volatile memory. There is a statement like that. So that is again a very important idea that you have to focus here. RAM is not a non-volatile memory, but it is a volatile memory. So what do you mean by this volatile memory? So it is a volatile memory as the data loses when the power is turned off. So when there is no power or when the power is turned off, this RAM will lose the data. So that's why it is termed as volatile memory. And this RAM can be further divided into two different types, which stands for SRAM, that is static random access memory, and also we have dynamic RAM or dynamic random access memory. So what do you mean by the static random access memory and also dynamic random access memory? So this is again a very important idea that you have to remember. So firstly, we will be looking at the dynamic random access memory, and this particular type of memory is used widely as a computer's main memory. So this DRAM or dynamic random access memory cells are made up of a transistor and a capacitor within an integrated circuit. So this is made up of a transistor as well as a capacitor, and it is placed within an integrated circuit. So if we just consider this dynamic random access memory, we can say that this DRAM actually, or it gradually discharge energy. So in that manner, we can say that if energy losses, or if there is no energy, that means the data become lost. So in that manner, it says that it needs to be periodically recharged in order to retain the data that is stored there. So the stored information on the capacitors tend to lose over a period of time, and thus the capacitors must be periodically recharged to retain their usage. So this is a very important feature, or it is a very important idea that you have to remember. So dynamic random access memory needs to be periodically recharged in order to store or in order to retain the information that is stored there, and also it has to be refreshed. That is again a very important idea. So it has to be refreshed every few milliseconds to retain the data. So this dynamic random access memory should have to be recharged as well as refreshed. So that is a very important idea, and also we said that this is used in order to make computers main memory. And another important thing we said is like this dynamic random access memory cells are made up of a transistor and a capacitor within an integrated circuit. And the second type of random access memory is static random access memory. So this is made up of 4 to 6 transistors, and it keeps data in the memory as long as power is supplied to the system. So this type of memory requires constant power. So as long as we are giving power, this data that is stored or that is kept in this particular memory will be saved there. So in that manner, this type of memory requires constant power. So if you just consider, or if you compare this dynamic random access memory with the static random access memory, we can say that this SRAM or static random access memory is faster than DRAM, but at the same time it is more expensive as well. So comparing to dynamic random access memory, the static random access memory is more faster and also expensive. Okay, and also if you consider this static random access memory, it is used in order to build the cache memory. When we consider dynamic random access memory, we said that it is used to make computers main memory, whereas static random access memory is used in order to build cache memory. Okay, so if this is the important, or these are the important ideas that you need to remember when it comes to RAM, we can just come back to the question that we have already seen in the beginning. So which of the following is or are true regarding RAM? And the first statement that is given here is RAM is non-volatile. That is a wrong statement. RAM is volatile in nature. So if you consider ROM, then read-only memory, that is non-volatile, but RAM is volatile. So the first statement is wrong. The second statement says RAM has a slow access time relative to other storage devices. So if we compare this RAM with other storage devices, this is one of the fastest memory types comparing to we know that cache memory is the most smallest and fastest memory, and also we have CPU registers that is again more faster than cache memory, but comparatively comparing to other storage devices, RAM is a faster kind of memory itself. In that manner, that statement is wrong. B says RAM has a slow access time relative to other storage devices, so that is wrong. And C option says RAM can be static or dynamic. That is true. This can be considered as two different types of the random access memory. We have static random access memory as well as dynamic random access memory. In that manner, this option is true. Then the fourth, or the D option, says that RAM holds the BIOS. So what do you mean by BIOS? BIOS stands for basic input or output system, and this is basically used, or it is a program. It is a program, a computer's microprocessor used in order to start the computer system after it is turned on or powered on. Okay, so this BIOS is actually held, or this BIOS is connected to ROM. So ROM holds the BIOS, it's not RAM. In that sense, option D is again wrong. So what is the question here? We have to identify the true statements regarding RAM from the given options. So in that manner, we can say that only the option C, RAM can be static or dynamic can be considered as true regarding RAM from these given options. All the other 3 options or all the other 3 statements are false or incorrect in respect to this RAM. In that manner, we can say that C only will be the right answer for this question. So C only is option C. So obviously the right answer for this question is option C itself. So in this video, we have particularly focused on random access memory. It's a very important type of memory, and we have just focused on the important points that you need to understand or to remember when it comes to net exam. And also we have focused on the 2 important types of RAM. Again, a very important area to focus on, especially if you consider the very recent exams and the very recent questions that were asked from this particular area. So if you can focus on RAM as well as ROM, that is again a very important idea. Cache memory is important, CPU registers is important, and one of the questions or one of the kind of questions you can expect from this area is they'll give you some types of memory and they'll ask us to arrange them in ascending or descending order based on their access time or the speed, which is faster, which is slower. So that kind of an idea is again a very important thing to remember. So when you are studying this particular area, when you study, if you just consider this whole area of memory in information and communication technology, these are the various perspectives in which you can expect questions. So this kind of an idea is very important. When you're preparing a particular area, you should have an idea about how we can expect questions from this area in next exam. So that net point of view or net perspective is very important when you're considering a particular area. So make sure that you have that kind of a vision or that kind of a proper analysis of the previous year question papers, and then you are focusing on the important areas. So if you need such a very systematic guidance for your preparation, you can think of Applebee's courses. We are providing online as well as offline courses here. So if you want to know more about our courses, you can just contact the number that is given in the description box. So thanks for watching and happy learning.